How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a lovely day. So Joey Votto comes back, tears the cover off the baseball early for the Reds. Then first couple of games back, makes some big clutch hits, couple big clutch home runs, and all of a sudden, things are going great. Things are going fantastic. And then David Bell gets the idea, like, let's yank Joey Votto from the game after one at bat. He gives him the day off the next day. And ever since then, Joey Votto's hitless, and Joey Votto's been struggling. He's batting 152 now on the season in his very short tenure with the Reds since returning from injury. And I don't want to talk about it. I tell you that right now, I'm not a fan of talking about it. Big Joey Votto fan supporter through and through. But with the way this team's batting, the way this team's young and up and coming, and just the guys on this team, it has to be talked about. And that's the question being is, how long's the leash on Joey Votto? How long do the Cincinnati Reds ride with Joey Votto and give him a chance to be a part of this starting lineup? It sounds like a crazy thing to be asking out of a guy like Joey Votto. But again, I think you look at this lineup right now, you say there's 7 guys. There's 7 guys that are going to play, and no matter what, you got to take them at this point in time. I don't think you'd make a spot for Joey Votto and drop one of them. That'd be in Fraley, Friedel, India, Steer, McLean, Stevenson, and Ellie De La Cruz. So there's your 7. That leaves 2 spots left in the lineup. Thankfully, the Reds got some young guys. You can shuffle them around, throw them in the outfield. Votto's got a chance to play. They don't, none of those guys need to necessarily play DH. There's a spot for him there. It brings up who's left. Will Benson hitting really well lately. Kevin Newman, David Bell's favorite player. Nick Senzel, he's been struggling lately, batting about 150 himself in the last month. And then there's Joey Votto. All those guys kind of vie it out for those other 2 spots. And when you look at it and say, hey, the good thing is, besides Will Benson, the rest of those guys, it's like, we don't need to, I don't feel like Votto's burying any of them. Senzel, you want to see him get things figured out. You want to see him play well. But we kind of know the story with Senzel at this point. If he can do something for this team, that's great. But he's, he's struggling now. He's got such a problem with injuries and whatnot. So it's like, I think the Reds would be all right if Senzel didn't play. And they said, all right, let's give Votto a chance. But nonetheless, you throw all those guys in the fray. And what's most important here for Joey Votto is, or the Reds, we should say, is winning. But for Joey Votto is understanding, like, hey, yeah, he's struggling right now. But Joey Votto has really historically in the last, 5-6 years been a slow starter. It was July when we had the Votto still bangs era. Was it 2016? Votto was batting $180, batting 200 in June. July came around. He dang near won the MVP that season because of how well he played that second half of the season. So we have to be mindful of that with Votto, where you said to say he does need to get his at bats. That's why it's like you wonder. Votto's too much of a veteran, I think. A younger guy that hits the baseball really well, and your manager benches you like that. It's like, what am I doing wrong? That can be, getting ahead. I wouldn't think that gets in ahead of Votto. It always does. It's always been something for me personally. If I was a manager, that's where I was like, I feel like you got to have the feel of the players. Sometimes with David Bell, like that's my one gripe with the lineup. Sometimes is like you got to, guys are hot. They're high. It's Joey freaking Votto. I don't care if a lefty's pitching or not. The guy's, if he's hot, he rakes against everybody kind of thing. You got to be mindful of that. But besides that, I mean, again, it's only been a week. It's been an 0-4 streak, unfortunately, this last week. But I think we have to be patient with Joey Votto and understand, hey, anything can happen here. And more importantly, if you're the Reds, we just said we named the 7 guys. Votto's not taking any of their spots up. I think, the other big thing is we're not just worried about those other guys' spots. We're worried about Christian Encarnacion and Strand. I know there's a lot of talk about him. There's a lot of concern about, bringing him. Right now, he's been in AAA all season, though. We're not burying him. On the bench. He's getting at bats. That's what's important. If he has to wait an extra month, he has to wait an extra month. Would you rather wait a month for Christian Encarnacion and Strand, bring him up if Votto struggles, or bring him up now, not give Votto a chance to potentially go out there and do what Joey Votto does when he's playing well, and that's just tear the cover off of baseball and carry a team. And he's very capable of, again, doing that for a stretch, doing that for half a season, doing that for a couple months. So you got to be very smart about things here, and you got to remember what you have here. We're not talking about, again, we're not a shot at Kevin Newman. We're not talking about Kevin Newman, though, here. This is an established player that's likely to go into the Hall of Fame at one point in time, and it's a guy you give a chance to work through his struggles because he's earned that respect, and he deserves that opportunity. So for Joey Votto, I think that's the biggest thing. I think how long the leash is to answer that question, I think he's got it close to the trade deadline. He certainly has it to the All-Star break, I think. And then what really starts to factor in how long, what kind of, how the Reds are going to be doing is how's everyone else doing. If Votto's batting a $180, Will Benson's batting 220, Nick Senzel's batting 205, Kevin Newman's batting 215. And, in the last month or so, it's like, all right, let's ride Votto out. He's going to get the benefit of the doubt. Those guys all batting 275, 300. They're hitting really well, like Benson is right now. All of a sudden, we're going to talk about things with the Reds and just say, all right, Votto's going to have to see some of this workload of his cut down a little bit. But if there's one bright side, again, Joey Votto being Joey Votto, we've talked about this for years. The one beauty of that contract of Joey Votto is the thing that doesn't really go away is the plate discipline. Joey Votto's got a 300 on base percentage right now, which is, again, impressive for a guy batting 152. And really, if Votto can get the average, and this might sound kind of out there, but if Votto can get the average up to 200, 220-ish, you obviously want to see it better than that. But if you can get the average up 200, 220, the on-base percentage around 320, 340, he's got to be impactful for this lineup because that's the way this Reds lineup's built is to get him on, get him over, get him. They're not home run or bust. You put Votto ninth in a lineup, a guy that can get on base, again, you give him a 330, 340 OBP, and then you flip over the top of the lineup with Votto. That's, it's a game changer. It's a difference maker, and it's an impact player, even batting as he is. But we have to see that happen. I think that's something Votto's obviously capable of. I think he's going to get the average back. He ain't going to be this, this bad as he is right now. He's going through a cold spell. It happens. Give him time to adjust. He will. It's Joey Votto. But ultimately, that's what I think you're really looking at here is you're going to give him time to adjust. But you can't give him too much time and bury other players and not let them play. But as long as those other players aren't, breaking down walls and there's room for him in this lineup, and right now I think there's room for him in this lineup. Again, Benson's got to play. But I don't think, I ain't worried about Senzel. I'm not worried about Newman so much here. And those guys can get rotational play and be all right. And, the way David Bell does it, he likes to sub in guys. He likes to give guys a day off. I mean, you give a guy a day off. And that's the thing with this lineup. You almost think, well, do they have 9 players or do they have 10? They almost have 10. Obviously, if Stevenson goes to DH, then different because Casale's got to play. Or Malley, whatever. One of the two. But besides that, you say a lot of these guys get a day off. That's going to open a spot up for Votto or somebody else to play. So we'll see. Got to be patient with Joey Votto. I know it's easy. It's really easy right now with the way this team's batting to say, oh, what about Joey Votto? Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.